huge leaks, all the information and any question that you probably have about why Black Ops 4 is what it is, why there is no campaign, is Blackout going to go free to play, is David Vonderhaar even quitting next year, why is there no campaign, why is there no leaderboards, what the hell is going on, what's with the microtransactions. I mean, every question I could think of that you guys would want to know, I asked this guy. This is a verified, trust me, 110% verified, long-term, high-standing employee with TREYARCH that reached out to me because I'm reading directly from the interview that I just did. I believe there's quite the disconnect between your opinions and what actually happens behind the scenes. And while I know most of your content is an exaggerated character, it still reflects poorly on us. I'm down to chat, answer some questions, close the gap essentially. Everything said here is confidential though. That is incredibly important. And I'm gonna have to omit some of the things he asked me I can't answer because it would divulge his identity and he would be terminated, and he's been at this place for a long time and he is taking quite a risk by coming out and doing this interview with me. Without further ado, let's just jump into it, shall we? All right, so the first thing I said, as a starter, I said this year has been pretty bad for Call of Duty, and I feel the negativity towards TREYARCH is pretty much warranted. The black market and a lack of content for season pass holders isn't up to par for AAA development, and I stand by my exaggerated negativity. Even Condry attacked it. And he replies back, "We don't control microtransactions. That's on our publisher. Condry is not in a position to criticize us. Different game, different studio, different standards. Supply drops were already making enough money, so additional influence by the publisher was unnecessary. Apologize for any typos also working." My follow-up question is, if you don't control microtransactions, then why such a huge difference between how they're implemented yearly from developer to developer? And TREYARCH has had the worst, subjectively, majority of people would agree, than others. It seems company have different ways of implementing them and what they offer. And he replies back, "Fans are more forgiving with us, meaning microtransactions are more aggressive. It all depends on the public perception or reception rather of the game. If everybody thought Infinity Ward was amazing, those systems would have been worse. I don't know how many times Dave has to say, we just make the shoes because we do." So what he is saying is that because TREYARCH fanboys are such, TREYARCH, oh, TREYARCH is so amazing, we love it, they are more forgiving, like he says. So the more love that the fan base has for a certain development team, the harder Activision will push microtransactions and crappy systems down your throat because, like they said, the development team won't get as much hate. And Infinity Ward and Sledgehammer Games are not like, well, they are now, but they weren't. They were more of like, the game wasn't that well received, and therefore Activision didn't want to totally freak out and piss off the fan base, so they subsequently didn't push microtransactions as hard, which does make sense. So basically, I did reiterate the point to try to make sure I understood it correctly. Was I said, so what you're saying is that Activision knows that TREYARCH fanboys won't get as mad over getting, pardon the vulgarity, so they push more bullshit than with other development teams? And then he answers back, that would be correct. Yes, it's not just microtransactions either. Our development cycle is affected by the other studios. Infinity Ward hit us with hard when that backlash was going on. I don't make excuses. Honestly, Black Ops 4 has been the worst experience I've ever had here at TREYARCH. I still love my job though. And so I say, you said Black Ops 4 has been the worst experience you've had at TREYARCH. How come? I think the campaign being scrapped was a big low. I spent most of my time there. Thankfully, most of my work was salvaged and repurposed. So I follow up with, so is there any truth to the rumors that you had to scrap the multiplayer idea that was like an Overwatch style multiplayer with no kill streaks and start over to work on what the current iteration of multiplayer we have now is? Hence why it isn't 100% complete on launch and still being formed more or less. That leak in particular, if you guys know about, the Overwatch that Matt Harris, I believe, leaked about how the game was supposed to take an Overwatch style game with no kill streak, etc. He says that leak in particular was real, however, was shown in a purposely negative light. The playtester who gave the information to Matt has been blacklisted and won't be doing anything with us anymore anytime soon. Sometimes things just aren't as fun as you'd like. And I'm jumping ahead of the interview here as well because I know what he's going to say as well that sort of ties into this to make it a little more smoother. Instead of having 3 years to develop the multiplayer, they only had less than 2 years. I'm getting way ahead of myself, but anyways, Black Ops 4 was meant to be directly after Black Ops 3. It's meant to be a, not a prequel, but it was supposed to be right after. But with the scrapping of the campaign, there was all kinds of problems, and We'll get into more about what the campaign was supposed to be. I've got to be real careful there because he said you can't say too much about the campaign, otherwise his identity could be, at risk. So my next question is, how long did you actually have to develop the current multiplayer as it is now? Did you have enough time or as much time as you would have liked? Did you feel satisfied with what you had when the game went gold in regards to multiplayer? Also, why did you scrap single player? We had 2 years to develop Black Ops 4, not 3. That's a common misconception. We made the changes to multiplayer and campaign pretty late in development. I'd say around March 2018, but I'm not available to provide specific dates. We could have definitely used that time to polish the game up. However, at the time, it just wasn't possible. Those changes need to be made before anything else. What he says here, I don't know if I can say. Campaign being scrapped was a mix between development and business problems. The next question is, as an example, you recently added bare bones, something a lot of people have been asking for months. Why does it take so long for Treyarch to listen to what the community would like as a majority to be implemented into the game? People have also been asking for the VSAT and better kill streaks, but Dave told us basically to go pound sand. With the popularity of Fortnite and the great interaction from Epic Games and implementing and removing things from the game based on community feedback, you'd think Treyarch would be quicker and more receptive to giving the community what they want. How come they don't or are so slow to act? Part 2, why no combat record, etc. 6 to 7 months post-launch on a 1-year cycle game? Okay, I forgot, also ties into part 1 question. Did your recent changes come as a direct reaction to Apex Legends taking player base from Blackout? These things take time to develop. We can't have a mode done in a week. It needs to go through multiple in-house and then must be certified by Sony Xbox, which takes a while. VSAT just doesn't fit into the game. Also, we literally cannot add new streaks into the game. It's a technical problem that would require the game being rebuilt from the ground up. We already have enough visibility, fog of war, UAV, sensor dart, vision pulse, hawk. Combat records is something I'm not in position to talk about. Leaderboards end up being filled with cheaters and exploiters. There's also some legal things that I cannot talk about. I don't know. We just make games. Apex probably affected our publisher, but not us. Level designers, animators, artists, etc. They don't care about new games releasing. Work still continues as usual. League play could not be developed during development because of the multiplayer changes. We just didn't have time. Once again, League play could not be developed during development because of the multiplayer changes. We just didn't have enough time, which reiterates the point and the conspiracy that, like they said, they changed things around, they scrapped the single player. Basically, the game was just a cluster and they released the game because they switched everything around. How far into the freaking development cycle? March 2018. The game marched in 2019. March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October. That's 9 months, man, before the game was supposed to launch, when this crazy stuff also was being still fixed and done in the game. So the game was 100% rushed, and it gets even crazier. There's more stuff coming up, guys. Holy God. I was reading over this again with you dudes, and I'm even like, wow, I was there for the first time, and still the second time around, I'm like, yo. All right, so next question, ladies and gentlemen. I think I only have one last question, which I don't. We have a whole bunch more to go as it started talking even more so. But will Blackout go free to play, and does it have plans for its own life? Will it be running with updates and changes for years to come, or a new one in 3 years when the next game drops from Treyarch? And the last two questions, which I'm getting greedy with, is Dave quitting, and what is the next Call of Duty game from you and Infinity Ward? LOL. Trying to, push the envelope here and see what kind of answers I can get. His answer, Blackout will be consistently updated even though new releases. Full free to play. So Blackout is going to be keep going and going and going. It's not going to be a new iteration in 2-3 years from now. It has its own life cycle, and he said it will be free to play eventually. I just don't know when. Now here we're hitting you with some crazy news. The next game won't be Black Ops. Hell, this game wasn't even supposed to be called Black Ops 4. Bullshit publisher stuff. So Black Ops 4 wasn't even supposed to be called Black Ops 4 apparently. He wouldn't tell me what it was supposed to be called. I don't know why. Obviously, probably legal reasons, and he doesn't want to get busted for, telling me pretty much every single secret of Treyarch. And on top of that, the next game, which is going to tie into the future of Dave, is not going to even be called Black Ops. And what are the plans for the next Treyarch game? This is David's last game with us. He's the individual behind the original Black Ops 4 multiplayer that was scrapped. I won't tell you anything about our next game. Sorry. But you did. You say it was not going to be a Black Ops game, so I appreciate that. And yes, confirmed pretty much right here, David Von der Haar will be walking away from Treyarch after this year. The rumors were that he was supposed to quit after Black Ops 3, but he stuck around, I guess. Since his Black Ops 4 original idea was scrapped and they had to come up with this new crappy version, whatever the hell it is we're doing, Black Ops 2.5, I don't even heckin' know. He focused on Blackout, and I guess this is his last hurrah, and he's quitting apparently. I did mention about zombies, guys. For you zombie people out there, I don't know anything about zombies, and I didn't really ask any questions about zombies, but he did say that the future for zombies is huge. There's a huge things coming for zombies, and he's not going to be able to share that with me. But there is really big changes coming to zombies, apparently. I did ask. I don't know much about zombies. I just said, hey, what's the future with zombies? Huge, not big. He said huge things coming for zombies. I can't really get into it as of yet. I do ask a couple more questions here. I say, before we finished up, I said, hey, what happened with the campaign? Like you said, not enough time. The plans changed because of multiplayer, etc. Campaign was incredibly ambitious, especially since it took place after Black Ops 3. So the campaign was supposed to take place directly after Black Ops 3. Not many people wanted to work on it. Honestly, the individual leading the project didn't have the best reputation. He's been working on campaigns since Black Ops 1, but never knew how to lead a team. The big issue was with our publisher. Okay, shit, I can't mention what he's about to say here. But the big, can I mention that or not? Give me a second, guys. I'm reading through the notes here at the same time. I don't want to, mess this up. This guy really went out on a limb to come out and talk to us, so I can at least respect the fact that I'm not going to mess up his identity and get him in trouble. I can say this, but I can't say the next thing. The multiplayer was originally set after Black Ops 3, so you have 2 modes. So there was supposed to be 2 modes with 2 different time periods. It became a problem because obviously the multiplayer and what was going on with that, what the original plans were, didn't line up with the single player. After the original idea for the Black Ops 4 multiplayer was scrapped. So basically, Dave's idea and the single player worked together. When the publisher was like, yeah, no, you can't use that multiplayer, you got to change it up, the single player that they were working on made no sense with the current multiplayer, so they had to scrap the single player, pretty much. And then it was the publisher saying that it was very similar to a game that's out now, but I can't even talk about or mention anything about that. But I can't even mention the other teams or who worked on the other game, but essentially Activision's like, hell no, you can't go anything similar. It's a lot of legal problems and whatnot, and it was by accident apparently, and too bad, so sad. That's what happened. So I can't do not feature in the video. Okay, so I won't mention that. I did ask a question that I didn't get an answer to, because every other question I asked, I did get what I seem to understand is a pretty solid answer that seems truthful. And I did ask a question at the end that I didn't get an answer to, and I don't know why. And I'm not sure what's going on, but it was because Nero Cinema made this apparent on Twitter, and I just copy and posted it, and Nero Cinema said, you can check your stats because of the new leaderboards. You can check your stats quickly and easily on your phone or tablet between matches. LMAO, if they expect us to be checking our phones to see stats between games, why not just have the stats in the game itself? How is this more convenient? And I asked that question for Nero Cinema, to be honest. At the beginning, he'd said there's some legal reasons or whatnot, which I don't understand. And I don't know. That's the only question that I asked that I don't really feel I had a real good answer from. But everything else, it seems, pretty credible when you match it up with what Matt Harris, I believe, originally leaked before Black Ops 4 dropped. And he had a huge leak as well. And this guy verified pretty much what he was saying about the campaign being scrapped and all the problems that occurred. And this is directly from the mouth of a developer at TREYARCH here. A guy, like I say, who's been there since the beginning pretty much. And it seems pretty honest. And yeah, but the only honest question I couldn't get an answer to was, why is there no leaderboards? But really, I don't know. Like I said, at the beginning of the interview, he said legal reasons. And at the end, he said, I just can't get into that. It's a long story. And I don't know what the hell's going on with that. But guys, unbelievable, bros. Holy man. This is the interview that I had. It's pretty awesome. I really appreciate this person coming forward. If you see this video, I did my best to keep it anonymous, like you said. I hope I didn't mess up anywhere. And I don't know what to say. Pretty much answers the questions that we all had. And I hope you enjoyed it, man. I'm super pumped to get this kind of opportunity. Oh, another thing too, before we go, I did ask him, am I blacklisted from every Call of Duty developer? And he laughed and said, in capital letters, LOL, 110%, yes, you are blacklisted. So I don't think I'm going to be getting invited to any, Call of Duty early XP events to hang out with Hutch and David Vonderhaar or Michael Condrey, and, well, those guys don't even work anymore. But yeah, I'm not going to be ever invited to any kind of Call of Duty event. So This is better than that. At least this guy, you know what I mean? Speaking your mind and being who you are on YouTube, you know what? At least this guy respected that. I was like, hell, I got to talk to this guy and clear the air. And he came to me to, you know, to do it. So very much appreciative of that. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. That's pretty much all we got. So if you enjoyed it, obviously hit that like button and subscribe for the #1 insider informational Call of Duty channel, apparently on YouTube now. And last but not least, and most importantly, my friends, stay black! And all toy cracker and police shapeshifter to build the moon base harp, this break, Kim Jones, now that was John's Bull Terror 7, the Bohemian Girl, worship, Owl, Thursday, Flat, the Lens, Fake, Alice Jones, Bill Hicks, Forrest, and August, White Man. Bring it down! Peace out,